If you want to know about Christopher Williams, you have to think that when in 1934 he died, Lloyd George described him as one of the greatest painters that had ever lived. And today we are now asking, who is Christopher Williams and why is he important and how did he achieve the reputation he did during his lifetime, and particularly why his reputation did not survive him beyond the grave.
Today, a lost painting by Welsh artist Christopher Williams, as well as its original frame, are being moved. They've been in private storage since 1971, until they were recently reintroduced to the world by one of Christopher's distant relatives. The painting of the demolition of Llynfi Ironworks is supposedly one of the only ones that Christopher ever painted of his beloved hometown of Maesteg.
He travelled so widely to all parts of Europe and to North Africa as well, but there are very few paintings of his hometown, which he so dearly loved. He returned regularly to visit his father and his many relations. He painted portraits of his father for the town hall. Having discovered the paintings of Frederick Lord Leighton and decided that he wanted to become a painter and nothing else, he then faced the problem of having to return to Maesteg and tell his father that he was not going into law as had been intended. I think his father then had sights on Christopher taking over the family shop, but then his father's friend said, "Well, you know, there's enough grocers in this world, but not enough artists, so I think you should let him follow his bent." And he was allowed to go to study in the Royal College of Art. So there are portraits of Maesteg people, but very few landscapes that we know of. To have such a large-scale canvas, I think, is an important find.
The painting is being moved to a professional restoration studio, where its condition can be properly evaluated. Its current owner hopes to see it displayed alongside more Christopher Williams artworks in Maesteg Town Hall. The lost Christopher Williams painting of Llynfi Ironworks, originally recovered in December 2021, is being restored at the Rachel Howells Conservation Studio in Cowbridge. The painting conservators are working on repairing damage to the canvas and frame and restoring the painting to its original condition.
We are conserving a painting by Christopher Williams of Llynfi Ironworks. It's going to be hanging in the Maesteg Town Hall soon when the redevelopment is finished. Part of the conservation work is surface cleaning the painting, and the painting also has 2 tears that we are going to mend, fill and retouch. The painting has been stored in an attic and it hasn't been looked at for a little while. It's not too dirty, but it does have this kind of white haze in certain parts of the painting, which are probably degradation products from the paint layer itself that kind of migrate up through the layers and then deposit themselves on the surface. So we're looking to remove those. This painting is quite important to Maesteg since it's of such a local industrial piece of history. There's definitely a responsibility that we feel to make sure that it's going to be presented in a way that can really be appreciated.
So iron is actually the beginning of Maesteg, so the first industry in the Llynfi Valley is ironworks. Iron is so important to Maesteg. I mean, without it, possibly the town wouldn't be here. If you imagine that, sort of around 1800, there were a few hundred people living in this valley. When the industry arrives in the 1820s, suddenly that started those transport links, started the development of the town, and then by the 1850s, there's about 6,000 people living in the valley. Christopher Williams was born in Maesteg. He was born on Commercial Street in January 1873. Christopher also attended the Llynfi British School, and we know he also went to the town hall here in Maesteg. Once we have the Christopher Williams paintings in the town hall, it's going to be really good for everyone around the town to see those works close by, see that connection with the local area he had. It's going to really bring that hub back to Maesteg. So yeah, really excited to see it all finished.
With 1 week to go until the reopening of Maesteg Town Hall following a major redevelopment project, the lost Christopher Williams painting of Llynfi Ironworks is being moved into its new home.
I never knew my grandfather. If you look at the paintings upstairs, my grandfather is depicted as the little boy in the fantastic robes there. We didn't know that until recently because following the restorations, the name Gwyn is now visible in the painting, and Gwyn was my grandfather. It's quite special that we've got that connection to him because he was quite young when he died. Christopher Williams was really very passionate about Wales and certainly about Maesteg, so he was very passionate about making sure that art was part of the community and that children had an opportunity to develop their creative side.
Christopher Williams is significant to us today because he provided a role model for other Welsh artists. There were no art galleries or private art galleries. He did provide that great incentive for younger artists to take up painting and to know that they had a career ahead of them.
The painting has been acquired and it's one of the only paintings of this area that he's painted, and actually having the art on the wall and to know that it was a Maesteg boy, born and bred in Maesteg, and he had an incredible talent, I think, for people to be able to look at the paintings and realise that they can do that. You know, they can actually develop their skills and maybe one day they will be able to exhibit on the walls here as well.